Hello everyone, welcome to Research Tips. If you're watching this video, you are probably aware of different academic writing styles such as APA, MLA, or AMA, or others, depending on your field of research. In this video, I will walk you through some practical tips while writing numbers, decimals, and statistical values in APA style, which is one of the widely used writing styles globally. So, whether you are writing a manuscript for the journal that requires APA style formatting, or a research report, or thesis, or some other academic documents, this guideline will help you present your numbers in a consistent and correct manner based on the guideline of American Psychological Association. Specifically, when you are used to writing in one writing style, and when you have to switch to the other format, writing numbers correctly can be a little confusing. So let's walk together through some of the guidelines and guiding documents available for APA style, and let's review those documents together, and then let's see what we can learn together. So let's get started. So I'm here in the apastyle.apa.org. Here, which is a formal website for the APA style. And when you scroll down and go to the products section, you can see their manual for the publication manual for the APA style, and the most recent one is the seventh edition. And when you click on this link, you will see that this complete manual is not free. You have to purchase it. However, this website has a lot of different free resources that we can use to guide us with this writing style. So here you see the popular style guideline, and go to here, click on the all topics, and here you will see that there are guidance available by topics here. There are several topics available. For example, let's quickly check on font, for example. So here it says a variety of fonts are permitted in APA style papers, including the default font of your word processing program. And here it gives information on the font options and what are the recommendations. We recommend these fonts because they are legible and widely available, and because they include special characters such as math symbol and Greek letters. And then similar other informations are there. And here, important to note here is there is a related handout section on the right, and here is the PDF student paper setup guide, and you can download this. Click on and download this PDF, where you will find all the related information. Now let me go back. See, for example, margins. So here we can see, when we click on that, we see that the rule for margins use 1 inch margin on every side of the page for an APA style paper. And here is the same link on the related handout, right? So that is for the paper format, and there is another for the in-text citation and the mechanics of style and bias free language, and there are other publication process, grammar, and reference, and how to set up table and figure. But for the purpose of this video, our focus is on the numbers. So let's click on the numbers, and then here we can see there are two different links here: numbers expressed in words and number expressed in numerals. So let me click on one of these, and here you can see the simple rules, such as in general use words to express number 0 through 9, and then use numerals to express number tens and above. And then there are others cases in which to always use words for numbers. and you can read them, but for now my focus is on this related handout. So here is this handout, numbers and statistics guide. When you click on this link, you can download the PDF, and here we have the most recent guidance, the seventh edition guidance on numbers and statistics presentation. So here, let's start with the simple ones. Use the numerals 1, 2, 3 for the following. Numbers 10 and above. For numbers 10 and above, we will use the numerals, and for others, like below 10, we will use the word, and we can see it here. So first, let's go through the numerals, and then we will use the numeral for numbers used in statistics. For example, 3 times, or 2 by 2 design, 2.45, etc. And then we will use numbers used with units of measurement. When you are using the unit of measurement, there will always be the number will always be represented as numeral. 7 dash mg, not SEVE, and 7 dash mg. Similarly, for times and ages and for dates, we use number. And then for scores and points on scale, we use number. For example, 5-point Likert scale, the 5 will be used as numeral. And exact sum of money and numbers used is numeral itself, the numeral 4 here. There are clear examples, right? And then for parts of the book and table and figure number, we use numbers. Now let's go to the when to use words like 0, one, two, etc. So use the word for numbers 0 through 9. And then numbers beginning a sentence, heading, or title should always be represented as word. And then common fractions are represented as word, and then universally accepted phrases are represented as words. And then so use commas between groups of 3 digits in most figures of 1000 or more. When we're writing 500, we do not need. And do not use commas in page number, binary digit, serial number, degrees of temperature, and degree of freedom, and others. And then the plural of numbers, add yes or es to form plural number or word. For example, sixes, 1950s, yums, peas, etc. We do not need any apostrophe. And then do not make symbol or measurement abbreviation plural. So when we are writing 3 centimeters, let's just write 3 cm, not 3 cms. Now let's see the rules about writing decimals, and here it gets interesting. So the first rule, put a 0 before the decimal point when a number is less than 1 but the statistics can exceed 1. For example, when you are running a linear regression model and your coefficient is zero 0.5, let's suppose. In that case, that value could be greater than 1 also, right? Until and unless it's a completely standardized value. So in that case, it can be more than 1. So we represent it as 0.52 or something like that. So put a 0 before the decimal. But the second rule says do not use a 0 before a decimal when the statistics cannot be greater than 1. So what type of statistics cannot be greater than 1 are the proportions or correlation values or the p-values, right? They cannot be greater than 1. So those are represented as without 0 before the decimal. So they will be just like 0.05 or 0.52, something like that. That's important one, this too. And the third says, in general, report means and standard deviations for data measured on integer scale to 1 decimal. So for example, if you are representing family size, they are the integer values, right? So the means and standard deviation related to them will be presented in 1 one decimal value, whereas other means and standard deviations and correlations, proportion, inferential statistics like the value of chi-square statistics or f value, they will be represented using two decimals. And then for p-values, the rule is to report exact p-values to two or three decimals. So if you're presenting the exact p-value, it would be 0.006 or 0.03. Here we are not using zero before the decimal because this value cannot exceed 1. However, for p-value reporting, if it's less than 0.001, then we can just use this less than symbol. So these are really interesting, right? And then here and around as much as possible while considering the prospective use and statistical precision. Okay, and then when we go to statistics, it says do not repeat statistics in both the text and the table or figure. In table and figure, report exact p-values unless p is, we already said that, right? Unless p is less than 0.001. Put a space before and after a mathematical operator. That I think is really important. And for a negative value, put a space only before the minus sign, not the not after the sign. Just like here, down here. And then use the symbol or abbreviation for statistics with a mathematical operator. And then use the term, not the symbol, for statistics in the text. That means, for example, when we're writing the means where, in that case, let's not write the mu or x bar where. Let's write MEANS means when we are writing in the text. And then use italics for letters used as statistical symbols or algebraic variables. For example, here you can see the P is italicized, R square is italicized, and T is italicized. So the statistical symbols should be italicized, those letters. However, use standard non-italic type. However, if we are writing the Greek letters, we do not want to italicize them. Okay. So if you're writing beta or gamma, do not want to italicize them. Okay, here, okay, that's something to note about, right? Because then we will be more likely to italicize all the letters and including the Greek letters. But for Greek letters, standard Greek letters, we will not italicize them. And then do not define symbols or abbreviations that represent statistics. And abbreviations or symbols composed of Greek letters. So here it says see table 6.5, it may be the table in the full manual that we do not have access to yet. But still, these are really helpful, right? And then define other abbreviations like AIC. So for standard abbreviation, we don't need to define them like OR, what is OR, or what is standard deviation, SD, or others. But if you are using other abbreviations, such as AIC, ANOVA, or CI, then we need to define those abbreviations. So these are the summary guide for use of numbers and decimals and statistical values when writing in an APA style. So I hope you found this video useful, and you can refer back to this apastyle.apa.org for other guidance for other topics like the language or the references or grammar or others. So you know where to go. So that was all. Thank you for watching.